I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Hunter.
This is the Family Show! Howdy folks, welcome to my top 100 games of all time, version 2017. I'm Rebecca, this is Hunter, and we are down to the wire.
The wire?
The top 20.
We racing?
Yes. Racing to the end of this list with the best games in the whole wide world that I want you to try, according to me.
That you played.
That I've played. Yes, so today we're doing 20 through 11, so this is the second to last list, which means these are like some of my favorito games. Like, oh, I love these, my favorites. I want to play them all the time.
Okay.
All the time. Even more than my last list, which, you know, I liked quite a bit as well. Just saying.
Just saying.
I'm just saying. So, without further ado... No, not to do. Ado. We're going to start with my number 20, which is new to the list this year. And I think it just missed the list last year.
Okay.
You ready? It's one of my favorite Felds. Dun, dun, dun,
Okay.
dun, 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 dun. With this ridiculous sized box. It is Amerigo! This game. Oh, I love this game. This is one of my favorite Felds games by Stefan Feld. For those of you, he is one of my favorite designers. And that is because he does really awesome games. They're well balanced for 2 players to 4 players. All the player counts that he does, it's well balanced. The rules change so minimally that you can feel like you're playing the same game, whether it's 2 players or 4 players. The time frame on this one is 90 minutes. That's about right. A little less maybe for us, because we played it more now. But what's appealing about this one is, okay, Stefan Feld's notorious for his point salad and blah, blah, blah. This one's a little bit different, and I must show you, because this one has, like, a toy. I feel like it's a toy. It's a great little gimmicky mechanism here. Look at this. What is this, you say? It is... What are you doing? Stop the nonsense. Okay. Behold the cube tower.
Huh.
Dun, da, da, da. So yeah, you go around and you build your own little map, which will be slightly unique each time because you're putting these tiles together and making odd-shaped islands out of it. You've got islands and stuff, and you're going to have little boats, and you're going to float with your little boats around and try to get onto these new islands, settle, collect. There's going to be different goods on the islands that you're going to go and collect, and you also have a little bit of the... I guess you kind of call it area control, more
Yes.
area coverage almost.
Area majority.
Area majority, that's the word I'm looking for. And you're using tiles to cover them Tetris style, so you're going to try to get pieces that'll fit the best onto these islands so you can cover them up. The more you land you claim. We're going for victory points here, as always. They're great. Where does this come in? This is what drives your actions in the game, because we have cubes that come through here. And based on what cubes come out, I'll show you in a second here, and what color they are is what kind of options you have. So, I'll let Vanna White.
I'll let you do it.
Oh, you're going to let me? Okay.
I'm just helping out.
That's cool.
It's your
So you've got different abilities based on the color of the cubes. Say you want to build a building. Maybe, I can't recall, but I think it's the brown cubes. So you're gonna want probably as many as possible of those cubes. Well, you have to see. You ready? Oh, well here, let's...
I'll give you some.
First, we gotta set it up. So first, when you first start the game, they give you a certain amount. You chuck them in or whatever. Okay, I'm gonna do it twice just to make sure it's really good. Okay, it seems like a lot of them came out. Okay. There's gotta be some in there. At some point. So anyway, say for our round, we had set aside 4 yellow cubes. So it's our turn. We're gonna start the turn. And this, whatever comes out the bottom, however many, how many few, whatever color, those are the options for what actions we take in the game. So I'm putting 4 yellow cubes in. Boo! I got 2 yellow cubes. So we only have 1 action unless you have certain abilities that let you do otherwise. That's it. You have 2 of the yellow action. Hunter just threw in a couple black cubes, and he got 4 cubes of 3 different colors. You never know what's going to come out of this. Some people hate this because it adds that random element to the game. We love it because it throws, it kind of drives, okay, what's my backup plan? What am I going to do? What can I do with this? And for whatever reason, we really enjoy having to think of all the different possibilities. This is one of those games I feel like, out of all of the Felds, this one has the best of all these good options. I don't feel like there's any bad options or, oh, I gotta take the, get the 2 coins kind of thing. This always has something going on, and this kind of helps narrow down some of your choices with it, too. So.
Well, I mean, you could be wanting to do something and the timing's wrong, right?
That always happens.
Because let's say you're dropping the brown cubes in, you're really hoping to take the brown action, but conceivably, not a single brown cube could come out if it just happens.
Yeah, it happens. My only complaint is you see the insane amount of dead space in this ginormous box. It's ridiculous. It should not be this big. But, oh, you already emptied it out. Look at that. The other thing that's cool is because you have this ridiculous sized box, you can just chuck this thing practically intact right back in. You're ready to go. Boom. No big deal. Except for all the cubes. There it is. That is my number 20, new to this year. I'm pretty sure we got it almost right after I had made my list. I think
well,
I recall...
it's not on my list, so...
Yeah.
I honestly think we got it... Let's say... It was either my Valentine's choice or it was near that time.
Might have been. It might have been. And it was one of those where as soon as we played it, we're like, this is going to be on that list kind of thing.
So it's my number 21, so almost a crossover.
That's pretty amazing.
And it is my second favorite Feld as of the making of my list.
Wow, that's pretty smooth. Let me see.
Nah, don't spoil your list.
No, I'm not spoiling anything. I'm just checking for my own video.
This is a good one. I love this one. This one's fun.
It's so good. It's just so good. It's one of those that as soon as we're done playing, I wouldn't mind playing it again. And sometimes Feld games melt your brain just enough. You're like, ooh, I'm good. But that one I could play again. I don't know why. I always am like, oh, next time I'm going to do this differently. Or, I don't know. I love it.
Go.
So, my number 19 is new to the list as well. And boy, did it make an impression on both of us. Him even more than me, actually. When we first played it, I was like, oh, this is top 100 material. There's no way. This is so good. And that is the greatness of Great Western Trail. He's shaking his head because I have it so low. I'm assuming. Yes. Mm-hmm. This game is really smooth. It's really interesting. And it's a little heavier than I thought it would be at first glance. And I think that's why I like it so much. It's set collection, but with cows. And you're making a transit all the way up to Kansas City to where you're going to sell your cows. In the meantime, as you're doing that, you want to build up your engine so that you can get basically the best, most expensive cows and the best set of these so that you can sell off and make the most money when you go to Kansas City. How you can do that, there's several different ways. There's also a train. You have to move on the track that gives you some victory points in a different way. There's also personalities that you can purchase that help with these things, like there's an engineer that moves the train. There is a craftsman that helps you build buildings that are stops along the way to Kansas City that give you different benefits or help you buy cows or whatever, trade them and different things. Then there's also cowboys that make the cows cheaper for you. And they're pretty hard to purchase those. So you have to kind of make some plans to maximize what you're doing so that you can get these people, because sometimes you have to spend them to get some of these good benefits, like to move the train. You're putting them somewhere and you want to stop at a station. You're going to have to put a person there to block that spot as yours and to get those victory points. It's tough. You've got to plan a little bit ahead and map out exactly what you want to do in a most streamlined fashion to get to Kansas City. Do you want to spend more time and make more stops and try to build up your engine a little bit better? Do you want to race and get through Kansas City as many times as possible, hoping that you get enough, maybe an extra cell in there versus your opponent, so you end up with more money possibly? It's a gamble. You got to try it. There's a lot of different ways to win, different strategies that'll lead you to that to help you win, and it's really smooth to play. One of those that the rules are pretty easy to learn. once you get through them, I think the rulebook sounds kind of confusing from what I recall. But once you actually get in, dig in, and play it, it's really smooth. It takes us about 2 seconds to say, oh yeah, do you remember the rules for this? Let's play again when we throw it down again. Awesome. Awesome game. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, so it's my number 6. I love this game for many, many reasons. Beyond what you said, one of my favorite things is, and I like this in a lot of games that are towards the top of my list, is I like games where you upgrade certain skills that when you upgrade it, it removes it off of a place. Let's say I want to buy this skill, so I take a disc off that skill, and now I have access to that skill.
Yeah.
But then I take that disc and I move it somewhere else, and it maybe makes something cheaper, right?
Yeah.
So it's like almost like a double upgrade. You upgrade something, and you make something else cheaper, or another upgrade. Several games are like that, where you kind of manipulate your upgrades. I like that. I like the set collection. It's almost a deck building game because you start with a set of crappy cows, and then as you go along, there's ways to discard cows out of your hand to make your hand more powerful. Because, like she said, when you get to Kansas City to sell, you want one of each cow, and you want the most expensive cows as possible. Duplicates don't count. So if you get 2 of the same kind, then you only get to sell one of those.
Yeah,
right?
I guess set collection is almost a misnomer because it's more of like a straight.
Yeah, trying to get one of each thing, right? So yeah, it's really cool. You build buildings. The buildings, when you land on your own buildings, you get a powerful benefit. If someone else lands on your building, they get a minor benefit, a lesser benefit, right? Or if they pass over your building, sometimes they have to pay you a fee. So it's just got so many cool things going on for it, and I really love this one. So,
yep.
I could go on and on, but it's her list, so we'll move on.
Yeah, we could. This is one of our faves, a mutual favorite, as you can see. My next one, this intrigues me somewhat. Oh, I think we've had a play in between then. Last year, it was number 19 on the list. This year, it's number 18. I'm pretty sure we had a really good play or two, in between the making of this list and the last one. And that is for Merchants and Marauders. I'm pretty sure we did 2 plays now that I think about it, because then we try all of them, all of the expansion.
We tried one with what we thought was cool, and then we tried one with everything.
Yes, and we're talking about the expansion that's called Seas of Glory that goes with this, and it's a set of modular expansion pieces that you can do with it. Like, for example, they have a storm that drifts in a certain programmed movement throughout the game duration, and it's really, really fun. There's a morale tracker for one. There's all sorts of different things going on with it that really heighten this game. This game was fun. We fell in love with this game just the base game when it first came out, and then only semi-recently did we get the Seas of Glory, but then it was one of those situations where that was so good, we are not turning back. Yeah. And so we add the Seas of Glory. It's actually in this box, which is part of the reason I'm kind of holding the box shut. I really shouldn't probably stand it up. It's chock full of piratey goodness. You can start out as a humble merchant or a crazy pirate, and you're sailing around in these seas, and the different landing ports are affiliated with different countries. It's based off of the actual Caribbean setup and everything. It's historically based, loosely, of course, because they get a little crazy with some of the pirates' goods and different things. But the map's basically there, and you can go around and you can investigate rumors for victory points. You can become a pirate and steal goods, accomplish missions. There's all these different things that you can do in this game. So it's sandboxy goodness, for one thing. You get to pick and choose what you want to do. You can change your mind. I can't tell you how many times certain people at this table have turned to a life of crime in moments of need, only to maybe go back to being a good, humble citizen again when they realize that half the countries are against them. Or maybe some people pitted every country, including their home country, against them and only had one port they could safely land in. There's quite a few great stories we have along with this game. Great memory making. Hours of happy, mostly piratey goodness. Merchants and Marauders.
Yep, so we're about the same place. It's my 15, and it's held there consistently. In 2015, it was 14. In 2016, it was 13. In 17 it was 15. So it's holding strong, and it may have dropped a little bit more if we didn't get the expansion somewhere and all that. But what's cool about the expansion is it's completely modular. So there's like, I want to say 15 or 16 modules.
Is it that high?
Yeah.
Good grief.
I'm pretty sure it's 15 or 16 modules that you can add to the game. I'll open up the box just to show, to look how many modules there are, but also to show you that it's completely packed full of stuff.
Yeah, you can kind of see. I mean, it goes all the way to the top of the board, and we had it bagged so that everything could be kind of compressed and flat.
Ah, you're right. It's 15. It's 11 modules, and then it has five variants.
That's what it was.
You can do in the
game. I was like, that seems so high. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I just love it. Like she said, it's just you can do whatever you want. I like games that don't kind of railroad you into there's like one way to win. And this one, there's many different ways to win, and I really enjoy that. And like she said, if we ever play this, I don't know if we'd ever play the base game again, because there's some of the modules that we love are easy to introduce and don't add that much rules to the game.
Oh, especially if you have people that have played this before, it's like, well, all you're doing is this. Oh, okay, you can play. It's really that simple with some of them.
There's a handful of them that we probably are kind of hit and miss that you can. I mean, there's like ways to do like land battles and weirdness that we usually don't do.
Oh, I don't even remember those. If that tells you how little I thought of them, but
yeah, so it's just an awesome game. So. I know this one is less, like I don't know, less popular is the word, but all the rage right now, it's Zaya, right? So that's like the in-space version of this. So if you like Zaya and you want something a little different, but kind of the same feel, this is one that you should check out.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion on that.
All right. Onward we go.
Times. Okay. So, let me see here. Oh my goodness, we are already to 17. My number 17 this year was my number 9 last year. And I think the only reason it got pushed out of the top 10, honestly, is just simply because the insanely good games that just beat it for whatever reason. Because I still love me some Mystic Vale. This is not going to be on Hunter's list.
Now, hold on.
This is... I love deck builders. And this is like deck building 2.0. It's card crafting. So you've got these cards. Yes, it has a generic fantasy theme. Blah, 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 whatever. I don't care about that so much. I enjoy it, whatever. I think with a really heavy theme, it'd be even more amazing. Don't get me wrong. But... it doesn't bother me that the theme's kind of whatever-ish. Because...
you seem to forget. Remember that we started this all off with my 101?
Oh, yes. I recall this nonsense now.
Just missed my list. Actually, it was on my list that I mentioned the 101, right? When I did my top 100.
Your decks, okay. They have nice backs. This is the greenish-yellow team. And the card sleeves, they're actually really sturdy card sleeves. I'm very impressed with them. But this is the base card for my intro deck. You get some cards like this and some that are blank. Okay? So you get the idea. And then you get to have... oh, this is so amazing to me. You get cards that are like this. That have just a top portion, or just a middle portion, or just the bottom portion. And you take them, and once you purchase them, you slide it in, and now you have a super duper cool card. And they have different things that give you bonus, like this is the equivalent to the money in the game. I think it's mana. They've got little shields, and some of them say however many helmets you have on your card. You get bonuses, plus money, plus strength, something, right? They have victory points. Some of them give you victory points. Some of them have victory points in here. So when you draw the card, you get victory. Just all sorts of stuff going on with it. I love playing this game very, very, very much. I would play this all the time. I think it's pretty simple to set up, play, and we have all the expansion stuff.
So far, yes.
Yes, that they have so far. And what's fun about that is now we've got so many dang cards. that each game feels completely different now because we don't get through even a chunk. I mean, this is crazy. Is this level 1 and 2, or is it just, this is just level 1, I think. Let me see. But you get the idea. I mean, there's no way, even if that's both levels, that we get through both of them.
No, they're all separate. This is level 1 cards.
Yeah. And, yeah, here's my level 3s. We barely scratched the surface. These are the super expensive ones to get that have the super bonuses. So it's pretty cool because we get through the game and you're not going to be like, oh, it's more of those again. I feel like there's enough cards now with the expansions that you get a really good variety. And it's not like... Because when we first got it, I'll be honest, yes, we played it enough that I had already kind of figured out, okay, there's some pairings that work a lot better than others. And if you get those, you know, you're going to win. Okay, you can't really do that as much now. I mean, we'd really have to play a whole lot more. And with the variety of cards with it now, it really brought a lot more to the game, gave it a lot more depth. I love playing it. I didn't even talk about the Veil cards. There's some cards off to the side that with symbols you can buy them, and they give you their own, either a one-shot or a permanent perk and different things. There's a lot going on in this little deck builder card crafter. I enjoy it very, very, very much. So if you're a deck builder kind of person, you should check this out.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. But I think, honestly, I would probably like this less if you didn't love it so much.
I can see that.
So your enjoyment bleeds over. But I like the concept. I like
Concept's awesome.
the process, but I need some meat to it.
You think it needs more
Yeah,
flavoring?
this is just I mean, it's kind of a gimmicky Dominion. So
I think it's okay. I guess I could see that. I don't necessarily entirely.
I just like games deck building games where you use that deck to do something.
True.
This one you just do get victory points.
Now, supposedly.
Yeah.
Supposedly, this is going to be that does something at some point, right?
It's a completely separate.
It's a separate game.
Yes.
All right. Well, there's rumors abound. We shall see.
Of some adventure game based on the card crafting system.
Yeah. So we shall see. We'll hear about it.
I like it. I mean, 101 is not a bad spot on my
list.
list.
Actually, it's not. So. Especially for someone who's not as crazy about this weight of a game because it's very, again, light compared to.
Yeah, I mean, if it once you got your deck going and got it churning good. If there's something else you could do, like go on adventures or go fight monsters or do something with it,
That'd be fun. Yeah, because the Veil cards are very much here's a one-shot thing you can do to help you do more of the same. It's not something unique. And if it was, I could see that. That would be really cool if they had the Veil cards do a little something else off to the side, but they don't. But that would be really cool. I like that idea. Ideas for expansions, people. All right. So, next up... Mystic Veil. So good, though. My number 16 was my number 17 last year. Maybe it's just the pure joy of knowing that this is back in print. Dun, dun, dun!
Wow, you really like this.
Pillars of the Earth. I love this. This is one of my absolute favorite worker placement games. Obviously, because it's, what did I say, 16? Ridiculous! Gorgeous. Stinking gorgeous game. And I'm so happy to say that you can actually find this game now. That makes me so happy. This is one of the prettiest boards. I love this board. And it's also incredibly useful. So, it looks very busy at first glance. You're like, wow, there's a whole village and they're building buildings and stuff. But if you look, it's got the words along each section and numbered. And that's the order how you play through the turn once you're done to do scoring. You go through and you do wherever number 1 is. And then you go down and you find number 2. And then you find number 3. And you go around the board and do everything in order. And it's got it basically on there. So once you learn the rules, you don't have to refer back to the rule book. You can just look on the board and it guides you through the turn. Love that about this game. And it's got a cute little cheesy gimmicky thing where you can build... How you end your turn is the person puts down a piece of the cathedral, and then when the cathedral's built, the game's over. Haha, it's cute. Okay, but I like the different there's like several phases to the game, for lack of a better word, right? You start out and you're kind of doing this weird bidding thing to see who goes first, second, third, fourth, you know, go in order, who's going to get what turns. It's possible you could get 2 in a row, but you have to pay to do things like that, right? So there's that. Then there's this whole system about trying to get all of your materials and stuff for what you're going to build. So you're going off to the forest and stuff, and you're using however many of these little workers that you ended up with, cute little tiny workers, and there's bigger ones to represent more. And you go off and you get your materials, you get wood and rock and different things. And then you go in and then you start doing your worker placement around the board, and you're trying to get, you know, do you want to skip having to pay, I think it's the king's tax or something like that. You can go get a thing to be, you know, immune from having to do that. And you can go get a glassmaker card that helps you build some stuff that give you great victory points or a lot of money if you sell it and things like that. And there's so much going on with that. It's beautiful, brightly colored. I mean, the pieces, as you can see, like they're all the player pieces. You got the, you got the 4 basics right there. Nice and bright and pretty. Trying to think what else. It's like one of those things where I'm like, what don't I like about this game? I honestly can't think of what I don't like. I would want to maybe further bling out the pieces so you're not just pushing cubes, maybe? I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of that was like, oh, well, that'd be kind of fun to spend extra money on that, but I don't know. That's it. I love playing this game. Go ahead. What's your 2 cents on this one?
Well, it's my number 34. Which,
yeah.
When we first started getting heavy into gaming, gosh, maybe 3, 4, or 5 years ago now, this was the out of print Grail game for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Because we were, you know, obviously Dice Tower fans, and they just ranted and raved about this game, and
yep.
Eventually, I just said, okay, I'm going to go buy it. And I happened to, on eBay, I happened to get an amazing deal for this copy. It was, I played once.
Yeah.
Perfect condition, and I got a really good price for it. And then shortly thereafter, the prices just went through the roof for this game. And then finally, like she said, it finally is now reprinted, so you can go out and get it. If you like worker placement games, this game is great. And it holds up well. I mean, it's a little older game, 2007. It still holds up well. I would compare it favorably to almost any worker placement game that's out today.
Absolutely. And, gosh, I love playing this 2-player. Sometimes there's some worker placement games where the map may feel too open, but I don't know. I really like this one. It seems like we're always fighting to get the pieces and things that we really want. Well, there's several spots that are very valuable, right? That you fight for, like getting the superpower cards and things like that. Yeah.
So if you like a game like Stone Age or Lords of Waterdeep, this would be a good next step game for those games.
Yes, and it is.
And it's not a big next step; it's only a small next step.
Yeah. I think, again, the board really helps you play this game. And I love that about it because you literally do follow the numbers. So it's fun. We haven't played it in a while. That's why I keep going, I just want to play it again. It's smooth. It's a real smooth game. And it's beautiful to look at. And I'm a sucker for really awesome looking games. When they're good on top of it, amazing. So yeah, Pillars of the Earth, my 16. My number 15 is holding pretty steadily. It was number 11 last year. So I don't think it's probably going to move very much either. And that is Core Worlds by my buddy Andrew Parks. This game is, I know you're shocked, another deck builder. And it's space themed. I know you're seeing a trend here, right? This is what it says, Core Worlds, which is funny because it's so easy to forget that your goal is to get Core Worlds. You're like, what are you talking about? You're building up your space fleet, and it's going to be land units, and it's going to be spaceships. And you go and you get these, and you go and you attack these worlds and take them over using the military that's required, whether it's land or air, and then you take it and you get it, and there's victory points or bonuses or whatever for it. But you're building up because you want to build up your deck and build up your army so that you can get one of the core worlds at the end. And they're very tough to beat, but they're worth a lot of victory points. And that's the only way you can really win the game, is you got to get one of those. One or more of those, I should say. But sometimes along the way, you see all these neat, pretty, shiny things. You know, you're like, ooh, that world has this, and that's really cool. Ooh, I can get that. And then you realize later, you're like, I have not been building up my fleet for that core world that I thought was so pretty. It's a really fun game that way because we're duking it out for these planets and things, and the whole time you got to be thinking, I really want that one core world. I think I can build that. Is he building that? I hope he's not building that. If he's building that, I have to beat him to it. How am I going to do this? You know, and the whole time, because you don't really go for them until the very, very end, and you don't even see them until the very end. So you got to keep them in mind, because it's almost an out of sight, out of mind situation with this game. Or at least with us, I don't know. Or maybe it's just me. But I love it. I like the art in this. I like the way, it's very easy to tell how much might you need to defeat things, how the battles work. Everything is very smooth. So, core worlds. And I think we have a couple expansions with it, and they fit so smoothly, and I couldn't even honestly tell you now which is expansion, which is base game. Because they're part of the game. That's how much I like it.
Alright, so Core Worlds is my 48. I like it. I don't like it quite as much as you do. But I do have a story about this one. So we were at a convention. I think it was Dice Tower.
It was Dice Tower Con.
Yeah, we were at Dice Tower Con, and we pulled this off out of the library, and I started reading the rules. And I'm like trying to figure out how to play, because this is a deck builder space game. So I'm like, okay, we got to try this out.
Play this.
So I got maybe 2 sentences into the rules, and someone sat down. I can't recall his name. I'm horrible with names. Jeff. I don't know. Anyway, he sat down and showed us how to play, and we loved it. I won.
That was a lot of fun.
I won, so I loved it. And the next day, I think it was the very next day, we were at the flea market, walking along, and we see this sitting on the table, and it's Core.
You spied it. I wasn't even with you.
It's Core Worlds with that's true. You weren't there. Core Worlds with 2 expansions with an insert, and I got it for a super good price. Even kind of talked him down a little bit. But yeah, so we got it, and we love it, and it's awesome. Like she says, we usually play with one or more of the expansions when we play. We just kind of integrate it. I think there's one expansion that we don't always play with because it adds some more rules than probably it needs to for an expansion.
Yeah, we're like,
So yeah, but we love this game, and she super loves it. So
yes.
So is it your favorite deck builder, or is it a spoiler if I I would be surprised if it's not your favorite deck building game.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love the way this plays.
I don't know if it's my favorite deck builder. No, it's not. Let's see, where is it? 48.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clank is higher than it, for one.
For you?
Yeah, Let's see what else. Anything else? Deck builder? Deck builder. Hold on.
I do have one game that could be arguably...
Well, Great Western Trail technically is a deck builder.
Oh, okay. Well, that's lower for me. So, there you go. I like Core Worlds.
Which is criminal. Core Worlds!
What are you doing? Oh, you're going to look, show it off?
See if it's intact.
I think, well, yeah, it's got the insert. It should be. Yeah, because it's got the insert.
Yeah, so the cards
very basic insert.
Mostly intact. This one kind of fell a little bit.
Oh, guess we need to glue that little piece, huh?
No, it's a divider.
Oh, well, the dividers, yeah.
Anyway.
It accidentally got set up. It's supposed to lay flat.
Alright.
My bad. So,
what?
No, not that. I meant the set in the box.
Alright. Core Worlds. Good one.
Yep, I love Core Worlds. So that was my 15. My number 14. I don't know. You guys can discuss the deck builder. It was my number 6 last year. And it's my 14. It's staying pretty strong.
Ooh, dropped all the way down from 6 to 14.
It did. I think it just needs more plays.
Oh!
I think it needs more plays. Because it is the lovely, ruddy goodness that is Terraforming Mars. Yes. So, I don't know. Would you say that's really a deck builder?
No, it's engine building.
It's an engine builder. Okay, see? So
it's drafting and engine building.
There you go. Core Worlds is my deck builder. Here's my engine, one of my big engine builders. This game, so pretty. Space game, what's beautiful about this is, yes, you're going to Terraform Mars. You start out asymmetrically with a corporation that, what?
You over-tipped the insert.
I know, I started to and I fixed it. I fixed it. He heard the bits start to move and I'm like, ah. But yeah, you start out with a corporation, so you have a slightly asymmetrical beginning. You have a different focus, which is to your advantage to stick with that because that'll help you almost exponentially in the game. I mean, you can't ignore your corporation benefits, but it's a lot more difficult to win going that route. So you have that, and we do a lot of drafting, picking cards, and the best thing about this is you've got, well, two things. There's so many good things about this game, actually. The map is cool. The map has features that are actually on Mars and things like that. It's got some great names. And you've got areas where you're going to be putting ocean. There's going to be water areas. There's going to be places where cities go. And the other thing is the player map. Now with this, you've got to keep track of a couple things. You've got to keep track of your temperature and your oxygen level. Because obviously, if you don't have any oxygen, you're not going to be able to have plants and animals there. If it's too cold, nothing's going to grow or be able to live there. So you're working on building heat for this planet and getting water there. And while you're doing that, you've also got this fantastic player map that's your engine builder where you're producing that heat and you're getting your minerals put together and you've got plants and you can transfer these things over to the planet, build your cities, build some gardens or forest or greenery, whatever it is, and build oceans and good stuff. Good stuff. You can go a completely industrial route and go crazy with city building. You can do the opposite and build greenery and water areas and lots of critters and, oh man, you can do a little bit of both. You can drop a meteor on somebody. You know, it's... no, not meteor. Is it a meteor or comet?
It's I think there's a comet and a meteor.
Is there both?
Yeah.
I don't think we've encountered both yet. Yeah. Or if we did, we haven't played it. I don't know. Now I'm intrigued. I'm going to have to look that up later. But yeah, this game, it's got a great weight to it. I prefer playing it 2-player just because it seems to play... It seems to drag kind of long when you get to a higher player count.
Yes. I played it at the full player count and...
It's too long for me.
I wanted to take a dinner break at some point because it took a long time.
Yeah.
And it was me with a bunch of several new people and it just took forever. And no one was concentrating on the in-game stuff. They were just building their engine and they weren't really doing the stuff on the board.
Oh gosh, so that's dragging it out. Yeah. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I especially if it's a first play, I would recommend a lower player count just to get through it and stuff and be able to experience it that way. But 2-player is...
3-player is good too.
Yeah, oh yeah, I would think it would be too. But I don't know. I got a soft spot for the 2-player with this. It just seems like a perfect amount of time for me. So that is Terraforming Mars. Great theme. Oh, and no, I did explain that. Yeah, I really like the theming. I really like the gameplay is pretty smooth. That engine builder is fun because you can take several approaches to that too. It's another one of those where there's no one real way to accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Yep. So. Depends on what card you get.
It's true.
All right, so it's my number 22.
So similar.
So 22, we have one of the expansions. There's a second board, Elysium, where you're at one of the poles, I think. It's got a board on each side, actually. Mm-hmm. So there's another map, and then on the other side there's yet another map. And then we got another expansion which you haven't played yet.
Yes.
So it's over there.
Oh, yes, Venus Next. I am super excited about this.
Yeah, so we haven't played that. Very soon. And there's another expansion coming out. I think 2 expansions coming out there. One's already been announced. It's called Prelude. So, I'm not sure what that is, but there's another expansion coming out.
It's a prequel?
I guess. I don't know.
But also, this is Meeple Realty, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The insert for this game is a bit ridiculous. You've done these more than I have, but they built this in such a way. I love this. They gave you strength. They gave strength to the little engine boards. You see how pretty this is? And we glued ours together so you could keep it out all the time, but this also came with it, and it actually would fit in the box if you don't glue it out like we did, but look at the little rover! I love this. This game insert is pure
I
genius.
didn't see how you took it out.
Oh, sorry. I messed up Hunter's routine here, his shtick.
No idea how you took this out. There it is.
Yeah, there you go. And boy, when they fit it fits in perfectly. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, if you know how to put it.
Well, yeah, I think the mat's all messed up. But yeah, you get the idea. It's really awesome. Fits really well. Super fun game. That is Terraforming Mars, my number 14. What's crazy is my number 13 beats that game by like much.
Hey, I didn't talk about me. That's my number 22. That's
you
all
told me that.
Did I say that?
Mm-hmm.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Did I? No, I didn't.
You did.
Okay.
What?
Keep going.
What are you going to look at?
I'm going to fix this.
Oh! So, my number 13 is new to the list. Okay? And this is another Stefan Feld game. It's new, and this game, oh my goodness. This is one of those games that, again, it's a Feld game, but I would want to play it again very soon thereafter. Like Terraforming Mars, after playing it.
I wish I would have saw how you took this out.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I think that's the way. And so,
anyway.
Macau. Oh my goodness. This game is another one of those where I just want to play it again. I'm like, oh, this time I would want to try a different tactic. It's another one of those where you have a lot of good choices. And it is really pretty. It's a slightly different theme than the other things. This one is about this little colony here. And let me show you the map. This is really cool. What I love about this game is the dice mechanism. And what happens is, you know, with Amerigo, it's kind of a similar theme. You had a cube tray and it dropped down these different colored cubes, and that was how you based your movement. With this one, you have colored dice. So when you roll the dice, say you get a 4, you're going to put it on here at the 4. Well, the neat thing is every turn, this is going to rotate a little bit. Okay, it's going to rotate. Well, actually, for you guys, it'll be going this way, I think. I don't know. Anyway, but it's going to rotate one little click each turn. So you need to kind of pick and choose what dice were rolled, you know, because there'll be a couple different options that you can pick from. Which one, you want to make sure you never have a spot that you have no dice, because those dice are your actions for that turn. For good or for bad, whatever color it is, if you're trying to get a certain group of colors, you need to plan ahead each time for that, because when it ticks over and it's where the arrow is, it moves to 0, that's your turn. And if you don't have any dice there, you have no actions. You can't do anything. Oh, cubes. Is it cubes? I always say dice. I always say dice with this game. But the dice rolls are what it is, and then you grab the cubes from there, if that makes any sense. And I love what you do with this, because you have a couple different things going on with that as well. Because, you know, Feld, he doesn't just leave you doing one thing after all these cool choices. Again, this is nice. A board, not monstrously huge. But,
there you go.
How about you look at it this way? You have a map on one half over here, and you can sail around and sell goods there, and whoever sails over there and sells those goods first is going to get the most victory points and down from there, okay? Then you've got over here this little longest road area control section where you pay these types of cubes to get that spot, and at the end there's bonuses for how many you have, you know, that are touching and things like that. And they're sitting on these also are the different goods that you can go and sell. So you see how they're kind of intertwined. It costs certain things for you to be able to move this. And then there's a track in the middle, which I found kind of intriguing. This is a little bit different from a lot of his other games. Whoever's in the lead here is going to be the one that gets to do, I think, his first turn, right? So it doesn't really matter that you're up here or over here. You just need to be ahead of everyone. Kind of an interesting little idea. You're not really getting points or any other benefit except that you're going first. And then, of course, the outside of the board is where you track your victory points and all that. But it's just another one of those games where it's really fun. It's great to have the dice roll and go, oh, which cubes am I going to take and where am I going to put them? How am I going to map this out? Do I want to go after getting some goods on this map? Do I want to move my ship? Do I want to go and sell? Do I want to go and buy cards that help me do these things? There's a lot of stuff going on. Love, 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 love Macau. So tell us what you think of Macau.
So Macau's my 31.
Wow.
I really enjoy this one. I think it actually has the potential to go up next time around.
Totally see
I
that.
think we've only played it once or twice when I made my list, and we've played it several times
Yes.
since then.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's one of my favorite Felds. I don't think it's going to drop on next year's list, if I had to guess. If anything, it would go up.
Yeah.
And like she said, my favorite thing about it is, too, that choice, that hard choice of when you roll the dice, you can, if you take a die with a high number, you're going to get a lot of cubes, but it's going to be way in the future, right?
Yeah.
So you got to balance between what do I get now with what I get later, right? So you invariably build up this humongous turn where you have like 15 cubes on one spot,
Which is great.
but then you're getting very lean turns leading up to that, right? So it's a choice. Do you have a continuous amount of, medium amount of cubes, or do you have some small turns and then a real big, massive turn where you can make a big rush to do stuff?
Yeah, and it's one of those that's just tight enough, too. Just when you start feeling like, hey, I'm getting the hang of this, the game's going to be over soon. So you're like, oh, there's so much I want to get done first. So, really, really well balanced. Macau.
So this one's out of print. Just a quick note before we move on. This one's out of print, but I'm guessing that since Robin Burger's doing... they're
doing 10th anniversary.
10th anniversary editions. This was in 2009, so I'm guessing either late 2018, early 2019. They will do a 10th anniversary edition of this. We got this on the secondhand market for a fairly good price, so I think you can find it if you're looking for it. But if you're like not really anxious to get it, if you hold out, I bet you'll get a very nice, shiny new 10th anniversary edition. It's very soon.
It's very exciting. I'm so happy that they're doing that because they're great games. Let's see. My number 12 is very magical because it was number 12 last year.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty awesome. And it has remained awesome. And I think one of the reasons it stayed exactly where it was is because we got an expansion to go with it. And it was loads of fun. Pursuit of Happiness. Did you enjoy the game of Life as a kid? Now you can play Life for gamers. It's like the board gamers version of Life. It's just great. And you're going through life. You start out as a kid and you have some certain traits. Kind of like starting things that help you get going at the beginning. Certain knacks or talents, or you start with a little more money, something like that. And eventually you get older and you get a job. Or you work part-time. You pick up some hobbies. And then you start to get into careers and dating and all this kind of stuff. It's just really fun. And then with the expansion, you've got these community activities. Meanwhile, you do have to juggle your happiness and your stress levels a little bit, because if you feel like you're strapped for cash, you can go and... Do they call it overtime? I think. Is it working overtime? You can work overtime, but it causes you stress. And stress ages you faster and kills you. So sometimes it's a little too true to life, right? But no, it's super fun balance. It's really funny to go see, the weird hobbies you pick up, or the strange job you have, or the really awesome job you have, and the goofy spouse that you choose, or whatever. Or maybe you don't get married. Maybe you just date some people for a little while, because spouses are expensive.
Tell me about it.
So yeah, it's super fun. Every time we play this, it's like, what will happen next in this saga of so and so? We just kind of like play it up and have a lot of fun with this, and it's a great one to ham up. It's a lot of fun in general. Different every time we play, because there's always inevitably a goofy hobby or different things that come out that we collect. Although we usually fight over getting the board game collection. There's a card for a board game collection, of course, because they know how to design it. So yeah, very fun game. Love it. The expansion's really cool. Really enjoy that too. And I know this is not nearly as high on your list, because this is like one of my babies. I love this game.
So this one's my 96. So it made the list. And this is yet another game that I don't think I would enjoy it near as much as if you didn't love it so much.
Yeah.
Your giddiness over this feeds over to me. I do enjoy I almost enjoyed the role play, if you want to call it role play, of what happens, right? Of who you end up marrying or not marrying, the job you get, the hobbies you have, and the different activities you do. I seem to enjoy that more than I actually enjoy the mechanisms in the game itself.
I can see that. I can totally see that.
If it wasn't for that, I mean, if it was a drier game that without interesting cards and things going on, it would not be anywhere on my list. So. I just like the cards and see what happens, right? You end up, like last game, you went skydiving and died, right, on your last turn.
Well, yeah, because I was like 60 or something, and I stressed out.
Stressed out, and our last activity was skydiving.
I was like, I'm going out with a bang.
So I think she just went... And then I was not stressed, so I got like 2 more turns.
Oh my gosh, you needed to be a little more stressed. You needed to like...
Well, I was getting all the de-stressing cards. Every time one came out, I like snatched it up.
It was pretty funny. So yeah, we had a really good time with that. That one was very unbalanced, that game, because I really did all the crazy stuff and died young. Well, young compared to you.
Yep.
That was pretty funny. So yeah, again, stories come out of that game every time. And it's one of those where we could talk about that one. Oh, you remember the time when blah, blah, blah. And it's a great memory maker. So I think that's why it's got such a huge appeal for me. And last, but definitely not least, for today, our last one, number 11, drum roll. Orléans! This game! I could play this game forever. This is a bag building game. And kind of worker placement-y goodness, but specific workers. With little... Oh my gosh. There's so much going on in this game. Okay, so you have to put certain people down on the board to get other people. And you put them in a bag. And depending on where you are on certain tracks, because there's a bunch of different tracks that you keep track of. Haha, I know. One of them is how many people you get to draw out of your bag each turn. So you're going to draw those on your turn. You look at them. And you can decide from there which places you want to go. Because each place, like, say you want to go do some merchant trading on the sea. That takes a certain combination of people. If you want to work in the church, you have to have certain types of people. If you want to do knightly things, you need to have a knight. And you need to have all these different things. You want to farm, you have to have certain combinations of people. So depending on what you get out, you have to determine what you're going to do. And you're kind of building a little engine. And you're building up your bag. You want a good combination of things in your bag. So when you draw them out, you have a lot of good options. And more of these things become available to you. So that you can go to these places. And then advance a little farther on these tracks that give you victory points and perks that also further build your engine/bag building. The whole point of the game, of course, like everything else, is victory points. So you really want to do your best to maximize and streamline how you maximize all these different tracks. But the way they go about doing it is just, it's addictive. It's so much fun to go, okay, here are, I've got a sailor dude and a merchant dude and a knight. What combos can I go do with those things? What can I go do? There's some wild, the monks are wild. You can have, go and have them in certain places. You can go and get a mechanized thing. So you put a little cog in one spot, so it automatically creates that person in that one spot each time, so you don't have to put a person there. There's all these different things that you can do to streamline it, and I love the way this game plays. There's also a nice glitzy, glamorous, special...
Out of print.
Of course it is. Deluxe version of this that's out of print.
Deluxeified.
Deluxeified. That's what it's called.
Yes.
Good grief. Well, Deluxeified is about right because it was ridiculous. The pieces in it are ridiculous. But this game is really nice without it, even with just the cardboard shits and stuff. The art's really nice, as you can see, and it's the thicker, sturdy pieces.
I would argue about the art.
I like the art. It's simple, but... Oh, okay, well, it's goobery on the front. Yeah, they're kind of goobers, but... I mean, I like the art inside. I think it's cool. But, I mean, woo! You can go blind looking at those. But yeah, they're cute. They have... and I didn't even talk about the map. Oh, my goodness. Then, also, one of the things you can do is go and move around on this map and collect these goods that you need for different things throughout the game, too. And they sell for great... is it victory points or money that turns into victory points? Either way, eventually victory points for you. And So you can go and lay claim and put little trading posts all along this map as well. Oh gosh, there's just so much going on with this. The pieces, again, it's kind of hard for you guys to see them, but they're nice. They're pretty nice. The tiles are nice. You can build some other side buildings and stuff that'll help you, that only you can go to, stuff like that. Goodness, what else could you add to this? There's so much going on in this game, and I just love it.
Well, we bought one of the expansions. We have the trade and intrigue expansion. We do the trade, but not the intrigue. But it's not necessary. This game's amazing
so good
by itself. It's my number 14, so I'm right there with her. But I thought it would actually be top 10 material for you. I'm surprised.
Well, it's 11. It barely got pushed out, and I was a little bit surprised myself that it isn't in the top 10. But when you see what is in my top 10, I think you'll understand.
So let's answer the invariable. Invariable, is that the right word? The question that's going to come up. Altiplano versus this.
I still like Orleans a hair more.
I do too. I like Orleans better.
Yeah. I like this one a little bit better. Why? I honestly, I don't know that I could articulate that very well yet, because they're very similar games. I like this theme a tiny bit better. I think I like the Altiplano art a little better maybe. But the warehouse thing, I feel like we have that in some other games. And this doesn't have that warehouse. I like the map.
Does.
It does a little bit, but
send them off to good deeds. It's the same basic concept, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But I guess the way they went about doing it in this is a little bit better. And the bag building's interesting in Altiplano too, because you empty the bag before you replenish it, and in Orleans each time, all of them go back in. So it's a total guess what you're going to get. Yeah. I like both of those. So it's definitely not because of either one of those strategies, but if you prefer one over the other, that would be probably one of the main reasons I'd pick one game over the other. But for me, this one wins out. I don't think Altiplano... I don't know.
We hadn't played it yet.
I was going to say, I don't think we had played it yet, so I'm pretty sure it'll be pretty high up on my list, but I don't think it's going to ever quite touch Orleans.
All right.
So there you go. It's a beautiful, beautiful, fun game. That is my 20 through... Oh, I didn't tell you. My Orleans was 4 last year. It was in my top 10 last year. I didn't tell you about that. But this was my 20 through 11. These games all play really smoothly. They typically have like 2 to 4-ish players around there. They tend to hit that sweet spot of an hour and a half for us. I think all of them. Merchants and Marauders goes longer than that. I think 2-player. But the rest of them all kind of are in that same zone. You'll notice that those really hit a soft spot for me. I really love these. And they have really smooth game design. If you like the types of games or the mechanisms that I mentioned, I would highly recommend, if you haven't played those, to go try them, obviously. Because they're my favorite for a reason. And those are many of those reasons. So now, we only have 1 week to go until the top 10. And I see you looking at your list. Would you like to share what you're doing?
I'm trying to guess what your top 10 is, and I almost look at the list. I'm still convinced you've missed some. So we'll see. I'm still convinced you missed some. So that'll be for the after party.
Dun dun dun! Another reason. After we do the 10-1, we'll have another episode with the after party too. So stay tuned. We'll see you next week for more goody goodness.